I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Christopher Timms. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Doing really well here in southern Florida, where my wife and family and I live. It's a great place to be.
That's wonderful. Which of your talents, Christopher, is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Well, I was thinking about that, and I don't really know how to answer that. Which of my talents? I speak professionally, so I have a presence online, and so perhaps just my willingness to put myself out there.
All right. That's intriguing.
Yeah.
It is a loaded question, isn't it?
No, it's great. It's a great question.
Yeah.
It's great.
I honestly believe, I don't even need to put honestly in there, right? I believe that it's so fascinating to understand that you needed to be doing something in your life, and I needed to be doing something in my life, possibly that I love, possibly not, for us to be able to connect at this particular junction of life.
Yes.
And that question really brings that out. Which of your talents? I think it's a guess question, right? Like, I guess it's probably because I've been speaking, right? Or I guess it's probably because I'm a networker. But it is a fascinating question, I believe.
It is. It is.
And now we're connected. I'm hearing you at the sound of your voice, and I'm in Trinidad, and you're all the way in Florida, which for me is absolutely amazing.
It is, because the connection is so clean and clear. It is just great, isn't it?
It is. So who did you learn the skill of speaking from?
From listening to many other speakers and lecturers, spiritual teachers, nutrition teachers, sports coaches throughout, when I was younger in life. And I've always admired the ability of being able to influence people, to be able to grab their attention with your presence, with your words, with the way that you communicate, the rhythm and the tone, word choice, all of that. All that's fascinated me. Plus, I've been a musician all of my life. I play the drums and the violin, and I love the way music and rhythm, tone, affects everyone. So I see all that kind of interwoven together.
Oh, wow, the drums and the violin. Talk about two different spheres.
Yes, it is. Very, very much so.
Wow. So understanding the challenges, most definitely there are the challenges that go with what you're expressing, right? Which means there were times that you would have done it and the expression you wanted to achieve didn't come through. And then there are the times that you've done it and it did work the way you wanted it to. Understanding that, why will you continue to repeat the skill nevertheless?
Because there's always the state of discovery and improvement and the adventure of just refining your skill, to be able to play better, to be able to be more effective. And I think that whatever skill in life we develop, whether it's public speaking or music or working with your hands in trades, which I've also done throughout my life, as you develop one skill really, really well to a high degree of mastery, then it develops its own sense of insight and perspective that overflows into all the other aspects of your life.
Tell us about how you help others, Christopher.
Well, I used to travel extensively around North America and into different parts of the world, lecturing, teaching. But with the changing and growth of technology, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And now with the change of technology, I can be here in my office, just as you and I are, in our respective places, and reach the world. And so that's fundamentally what I do. I still tour a bit and work with people live and in person, but I do a lot of my work online, and I do a lot of free calls, teachings, discussions, things like that with people offering interesting topics. So people from a variety of walks of life just come in and just to listen and be a part of things, and free. And so that's really what I do, how I do a lot of it.
Where's the best place for someone to connect with you if they're interested in having that conversation with you?
Oh, if you go to my website, which is www.christophertims, and it's spelled TIMS.com. And from there, you'll see a complete breakdown of free events, and then other events, workshops, teachings, retreats going into next year, of course, things like that. And you can always shoot me an email. My phone number is right there. And if I'm here in the office, I'll always answer the phone.
That's wonderful. Well, do tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Well, there's many things that I've done consistently. I tend to be very creative and very right-brained, so I realized that to ground myself, make my life work, functional, I need some structure. So I work out at the gym 5 days a week. It's on a schedule, and it's about 90% of the time it's dead on the schedule. Also, I have a meditative practice, which is based on inner light, inner sound, inner presence that I cultivate every day. And that's been since 1976. So it's been much more than 3 years.
Wow.
And so there's a number of small little daily habits that I have that really help give my life some structure, to frame my creativity. So does that answer your question?
Most definitely. How does it make you feel?
It puts me in touch with one of the more intriguing parts of creativity and this type of a lifestyle, which is the idea that creativity isn't just a faucet that you turn on and just runs continuously. Creativity comes in waves, and when you have a good structure, a simple structure around you, and you have a good skill set that you've developed, then when the creativity arrives, you can express that creativity in whatever medium it is that you're using. You can really get it out. You can focus. You can get it done. And then to know that creative wave is going to wash up on the beach, it's going to be done. And then you just rest. You just let it be. You just let things be. You don't push. And then the next wave comes, just like being at the edge of the ocean.
Suggest to someone that's listening why they should do what you've suggested, yeah.
Because it takes us into a much more natural rhythm of life. The world as we know it today is built on artificial structures that are dissonant, incongruent with the natural flow of life. The clock is the big one. And although we have to use a clock, and coordinate our events and be together, for instance, our appointment this morning, we need to be able to do things outside of the structure. We need to be able to let things flow. And that's where structure can be a place for creativity and spontaneity and improvisation, adaptation. All these things occur in our approach to everyday living.
Amazing audience, you're hearing it live here from Christopher Timms. Again, you can connect with him by visiting christophertimms.com. Christopher, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Christopher, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is when I was 5. The clearest memory. Two come up. That's very fun that you asked that question. One, I remember walking with my mother into a toy store, and I saw a big stuffed Donald Duck. And I ran to Donald Duck, and Donald Duck was as big as me, so I was probably about 2. And I just wouldn't let Donald Duck go. So, of course, Donald Duck came home with me. And that's a really great memory. And then several years later, I remember picking up the violin and just being mystified that the sounds and all of it that would come from this little violin that I was learning to play at such a young age, just, it was like a whole world had just unfolded like a magic carpet right in front of me.
How do you see this memory connecting to who you are today?
Music has provided a cocoon because music begs us to remain creative, remain childlike in so many ways, to really love music, to play music, to let the music play you. And that cocoon remains around me to this day, and it allows me a sanctuary in a world that's filled with all types of chaos and pervading craziness, as we know. And I experience the craziness and I experience the stressors like everyone else does, but I think it's how we process them, the systems we have at work in our lives that either let the stress get to you or you just elevate above it. Get through it.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Of course, of course.
I love the idea of the connection of the hands and the imagination and the way it's expressed in the both memories. One where Donald Duck definitely imagination that became reality via the paper, right? Via cartoons, via then a real object that you held in your hands. And to see that you held that and then it became yours is fascinating, just as well as to see you hold the violin in your hands and to see the expression again, the output via your imagination and what then is created.
That's great. Yes. I can flow with the words and feel and see what you're saying. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's yours, your own unique real self. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question, and I'm not sure if I've got the exact right time period, but there was a band that was on TV, and they were called the Monkees, and I don't know the name of their song, but it had to do with believing. I'm a believer, I think is what it was called. And
that's funny, right? That's
yes.
I mean, even to the beginning of our conversation, when I said I honestly believe, and then I switched and I said, "Hey, take out honestly there. I believe."
That's right. You did.
Wow, that's amazing. You do believe. I mean, even Donald Duck, right? You believe that was supposed to be yours, and he came home, right? And then you believe the violin could definitely express what your imagination. Wow, yeah, it goes on and on, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You're right.
Well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Christopher?
Yes.
Christopher, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Do I
Sure.
say again?
Sure. Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Oh, no.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes, probably.
What
Yes.
about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, less.
Christopher, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who Christopher Timms is, what would you say that is?
What comes to my mind is always and forever into the light.
Love it. Christopher, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, it's a pleasure getting to know you just a little bit, my friend. You have a really wonderful voice yourself. It's nice, soothing. It welcomes people. And I wish you all the blessings, all the fulfillment beyond what you can imagine.
I appreciate that. And just like a boomerang, I wish it for you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Christopher Timms, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.